Four students went to sleep in a quiet college town, and by morning, an entire nation was living in fear. No forced entry, no obvious suspect, no clear motive. Just a brutal crime scene that left investigators searching for answers and students afraid to sleep in their own homes. Because on November 13th, 2022, something happened inside a house near the University of Idaho that would become one of the most disturbing murder cases in recent American history. Welcome back to Beyond the Case. Tonight, we are diving deep into the chilling case of the Idaho Four. Now, before we begin, if you enjoy true crime documentaries, criminal investigations, and mystery content like this, make sure to subscribe to Beyond the Case, leave a like, and turn on notifications. It really helps support the channel and allows us to continue creating detailed investigations just like this one. Moscow, Idaho was the kind of town where people felt safe. With just over 25,000 residents, life there revolved around the University of Idaho. Students packed the bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and football games every weekend. Violent crime was extremely rare, and many students living off campus rarely worried about locking their doors. That sense of safety is exactly what made the murder so terrifying. On King Road, only minutes from campus, stood a three-story rental house shared by six students. It looked like every other student home in America. Cars outside, music at night, friends constantly coming and going. Inside lived Madison Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Dylan Mortensen, and Bethany Funk. Xana's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, was also frequently at the house. The home was known for being social and lively. Police had even responded to noise complaints there in the past. Body cam footage recorded only weeks before the murders showed officers outside while music echoed through the neighborhood. At the time, nobody could have imagined the horror that would soon unfold inside those walls. November 12th, 2022 started like any normal Saturday. The University of Idaho football team had won earlier that day, and students celebrated across town late into the night. Xana and Ethan attended a fraternity party, while Madison and Kaylee spent the evening downtown before stopping at a late-night food truck around 2 a.m. Surveillance footage showed them laughing together while waiting for food. Nothing seemed unusual. No visible fear, no sign of danger, no indication that only hours later they would be dead. By around 2 a.m., everyone had returned home. Eventually, the lights inside the house went dark, and sometime after 4 a.m., everything changed. One of the surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen, later told investigators she woke up after hearing strange noises upstairs. At first, she thought Kaylee was playing with her dog. Then she heard a voice say, "There's someone here." Moments later, she heard crying. Then a calm male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Confused and frightened, Dylan opened her bedroom door several times, and during one of those moments, she saw a man dressed entirely in black walking through the house. He wore a mask covering much of his face, but one detail immediately stood out to her: bushy eyebrows. The man silently walked past her toward the sliding glass door and disappeared into the darkness. Frozen in shock, Dylan locked herself inside her room. Hours later, police would discover four brutally murdered students inside the house. The victims had all suffered multiple stab wounds. Investigators later confirmed that some appeared to have fought back during the attack. And despite the violence of the crime, there were no signs of forced entry. As investigators processed the scene, they found one critical piece of evidence: a tan leather knife sheath marked Kabar USMC. On the snap button, forensic analysts recovered a single male DNA profile. That tiny trace of DNA would eventually become one of the most important breakthroughs in the entire investigation. Around the same time, surveillance cameras captured a suspicious white Hyundai Elantra repeatedly driving through the neighborhood during the early morning hours. The vehicle circled the area multiple times before speeding away shortly after 4:20 a.m. Investigators immediately focused on identifying the car. Eventually, the search led authorities to nearby Pullman, Washington, just 15 minutes away from Moscow. That's where police discovered a white Hyundai Elantra belonging to a 28-year-old criminology PhD student named Bryan Kohberger. And the deeper investigators looked into his background, the more disturbing the case became. Phone records showed Kohberger's cell phone had traveled near the victims home at least 12 times before the murders, often late at night or early in the morning. Then, during the exact time frame of the killings, his phone suddenly stopped reporting data. For nearly 2 hours, investigators could not track his location. Then the phone reappeared, traveling away from the crime scene. To investigators, it looked as though the phone had been intentionally turned off. And this wasn't the only unsettling discovery. Kohberger had spent years studying criminology and criminal psychology. He reportedly researched violent offenders, forensic investigations, and criminal behavior. At one point, he had even posted online surveys asking criminals about their emotions and thought processes while committing crimes. The case quickly captured national attention, and millions of people began following every update, every hearing, and every new piece of evidence. And if you've been following this case so far, don't forget to subscribe to Beyond the Case for more detailed true crime investigations and long-form mystery documentaries every week. Then came the major breakthrough. Investigators secretly collected trash from Kohberger's family home in Pennsylvania. DNA testing revealed that the biological father of the person who left DNA on the knife sheath lived inside that house. Authorities finally had their suspect. On December 30th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was arrested. According to reports, he was allegedly wearing latex gloves while sorting trash into plastic bags when police arrived. Search warrants were immediately executed on his apartment, vehicle, electronics, and personal belongings. Investigators reportedly recovered additional evidence connected to the murders. Almost overnight, the case exploded across international media. People everywhere wanted answers. Why this house? Why these victims? And why would someone studying criminal justice allegedly commit such a horrific crime? Eventually, Kohberger accepted a plea agreement, avoiding a public trial and the death penalty. But despite admitting guilt, he never publicly explained why he did it. No motive, no complete confession, no explanation, meaning some of the most horrifying questions surrounding this case may never truly be answered. Today, the house on King Road no longer exists. It was demolished after standing empty for months, becoming a haunting symbol of the tragedy. But while the building is gone, the fear surrounding the case remains, because perhaps the most terrifying thought of all is that the killer may have spent weeks silently watching that house before the murders ever began. Thank you for watching Beyond the Case. If you enjoyed this investigation, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more true crime documentaries and deep investigations. And until next time, stay aware, stay curious, and above all, stay safe.